Good morning. Welcome. I'm Cindy Baptiste, your worship associate of the day. Just welcome, welcome. You can't hear me? Turn up your hearing aids. Can everyone else hear me? Is that better? I pulled it closer? Okay. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Providence, where we love beyond belief as we live out our principles.
Good morning again. Welcome again to First U. Our invocation this morning is taken from the message of welcome at the Newton Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. This is Newton, Iowa. It was created by 28 Unitarian Universalists who formed their fellowship in a prison. They formed it at the Newton Correctional Facility in Iowa. They have created their community despite countless barriers being put intentionally in their way. Leaders have been transferred to other facilities and put in solitary confinement. Rituals are often questioned or blocked by the prison. And we have this from the Reverend Dr. Michael Tino, who is part of the Church of the Larger Fellowship Unitarian Universalist lead ministry team. So our welcome and invocation this morning is from them. We gather as one community with many beliefs, following many paths, all with unknown destinations. As one, we seek to be treated fairly. Justice is only possible with love for one another. The heart in your chest pulses with life, as does mine. Equity in our humanity is the design of nature. Each step we take on our journey allows us to explore who we are. Transformation stops only when we refuse to advance. As believers in a multitude of thought, we embrace the challenges of acceptance. Pluralism is celebrated through respect for individuality. Through reconciliation of the effects of our actions, we govern our words and our deeds. Interdependence allows strength in numbers, with caution towards selfishness. In the spirit of unity, we vow to give as much as we receive. Generosity is measured in thought, attention, gift, and assistance. Every soul who seeks our community will be given the opportunity to become the masterpiece that nature intended. With this vow, we open our hearts to the love of one another in this place. I want to invite everybody now into the time of greeting, our opportunity to begin to practice what the Newton Fellowship speaks about so powerfully in their words of welcome. Let's joyfully and warmly greet each other. Someone sitting next to us, someone sitting in the furthest corner. Let no one go unwelcomed or ungreeted. Let's make sure everyone feels how glad we are to be together. And before we resume our seats, I want to invite us to turn around and say good morning to the people who are joining us from far away. And before we all yell good morning, I have to tell you something very special, because two of the folks that we're saying good morning to today are joining this church remotely from Florida, whence they regularly attend. So let's make sure to say hello to everybody we know is at home, including people who are joining our church with us this morning. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Good morning. We are so glad and so grateful to be together every way we can, and to have this affirmation of the power of the ways we reach out and connect with each other. Can we join in the words for our chalice lighting, written in the order of service? This light burns also in our hearts, and it lights the way towards harmony, justice, and hope for all. And I want to invite our Director of Religious Education, Jenny Nelson, up to the front now.
All right. I now call forward the families of Jasper Bush, Layla Gaderi, Jude and Laith Ibrahim Marlin, and Finn Steinkamp. From the beginning of time, parents have brought their children to houses of worship for dedication. In the presence of a community of family and friends, children have been given names, and parents have declared their responsibilities for the spiritual nurture of these young beings. Parents, some of us are here as your friends and family, and some of us are here as members of your church community. All of us rejoice with you in the gift of these children, entrusted to your loving care. We are glad that, moved by a sense of the blessings and responsibilities of parenthood, you have brought your children to this congregation to seek for them the freedom of a liberal faith. We celebrate your desire to nourish them in the love of truth and the vision of peace, justice, and world community.
Everyone is an individual, some of us with an incredibly cute bow. Everyone is a unique and separate person with a dignity and purpose all their own. By presenting your children to this congregation, you honor our Unitarian Universalist commitment to a shared responsibility for the care and development of all children. In September, we consecrated the water we gathered in our water communion service to the purpose of blessing those we love and dedicating our young people here in this faith community. Recharging that consecration, I add water now to this baptismal font to the countless names and souls that have been added to the stream of life that animates and hallows this church. So parents, your charge, of course, is first and greatest. Having heard these words of freedom, love, respect, and responsibility, and with the earnest support and care of this faith community, which will you now pledge to nurture the spiritual development of your children, blessing them with both roots and wings as they question and grow? If so, please say, we will. We will. And grandparents and godparents in this congregation, will you pledge to support these parents and support and love these children unconditionally? If so, please answer. Members and friends, youth and children of this congregation, the First Unitarian Church of Providence, at this moment and for years to come, these children before you will be part of our community of faith, commitment, and love. will you make a place for them and pledge to their parents and themselves your wholehearted assistance in providing a supportive and sacred space in which these children and their families can learn and grow? Then it is time for the naming and consecration. There, if I do this like this, can you hear me okay? All right. I call forward Jasper Rainier Torres Bush. Oh, look at that head of hair. I'll put it on his forehead. Jasper Rainier Torres Bush, on behalf of this community, I dedicate you to living your life with honor and courage, and I consecrate you to the beauty of living, to the mystery and miracle of love, and to the service of truth, justice, and peace. May you be blessed and supported by the Spirit of life and love now and always. Yeah. And now Layla Claire Gaderi. It's so nice having these names that we just lifted up in the Christmas Eve service. Layla Claire Gaderi, on behalf of this community, I dedicate you to living your life with honor and courage. Good job. And I consecrate you to the beauty of living, to the mystery and miracle of love, and to the service of truth, justice, and peace. May you be blessed and supported by the Spirit of life and love, now and always. Jude Sadi Ibrahim Marlin. Jude Sadi Ibrahim Marlin, on behalf of this community, I dedicate you to living your life with honor and courage, and I consecrate you to the beauty of living, to the mystery and miracle of love, and to the service of truth, justice, and peace. May you be blessed and supported by the Spirit of life and love, now and always. And Laith. Hi, Laith. Laith Alexander Ibrahim Marlin, on behalf of this community, I dedicate you to living your life with honor and courage. And I consecrate you, you ready? I consecrate you to the beauty of living, to the mystery and miracle. You know what I'm saying. To the mystery and miracle of love and the service of truth and justice and peace. May you be blessed and supported by the Spirit of life and love, now and always. Finn. Finn Albanese Steinkamp, on behalf of this community, I dedicate you to living your life with honor and courage, and I consecrate you to the beauty of living, to the mystery and miracle of love, and to the service of truth and justice and peace. May you be blessed and supported by the Spirit of life and love, now and always.
Congregation, friends, and family, the newest members of our community of faith, hope, and love, Jasper Rainier Torres Bush, Layla Claire Gaderi, Jude Sadi Ibrahim Marlin, Laith Alexander Ibrahim Marlin, Finn Albanese Steinkamp.
Can you hold them up?
Thank you all.
Now I call up our membership coordinator, Jennifer Nardone.
Good morning, everyone. I call upon the newest First U members who are present to come forward and bring your new member insert with you. Jill and Robert Bendick, who are joining us online today from Florida. Eloise Burdett and Miles Silva. Maya Bush, Laura Cote Gonzalez, Brian Hodis, Amy Johnson, B. Lonsby, Emily LeMay, Damian Lima, Ali Price, Eric Reeks, Leila Sami, Kevin Tai, and Charles Vestal.
Come on up here so people can see your faces. We want the congregation to be able to get to know everybody who's joining. So come up on here, and some of you can get on the step. More room over here. Lots of room over here. The life's blood of any congregation lies in new members. You joining us, yeah, woo! You joining us recognize the value of the church community in your lives and unite with us in the rituals, ideals, and traditions that are vital to our existence. Drawn by your own yearnings and your experiences here, you have learned the history and ways of this faith and of this church in particular. You have signed the ancient book of membership of this faith community that goes back 300 years.
We welcome you into membership in the First Unitarian Church of Providence. We appreciate the love, dedication, and service you bring to us. Your presence here makes us whole and holy. May you find here both happiness and wisdom for daily living.
We welcome you to this covenanted community of faith, commitment, and caring. We honor the paths that brought you here. We look forward to the journey we will share with you in the coming years. Will you affirm your joining this congregation and commit to cherishing the freedom of this liberal faith in which you may work out your own beliefs in an atmosphere of trust and challenge? Will you accept the responsibilities of membership and participation as we commit to support you in loving community?
Let us all recite the words of our covenant. We, the members of the First Unitarian Church of Providence,
with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the light we know by many names, and with gratitude for our deep connection to each other and to the larger web of existence, covenant to walk together in our search for truth, seeking the paths of wisdom, compassion, and justice. So welcome to membership in this beloved community. May you find a lasting spiritual home here among these good people. May you find the comfort and challenge, the inspiration and support to help you be the persons you would be. And from this spiritual home, may you be nurtured and challenged to truly bless the world. What a day already, right? So much goodness. How fitting then to sing our first hymn, 349, We Gather Together, Can We Rise in Body or Spirit?
Today's reading, can you hear me? Is by Hannah Levy, contemporary American writer. The day a poet is murdered by ice. The day a poet is murdered by ice is a school day like every other in the first week of the year. Time isn't real, but still, it's January, and scientists say we're gaining about 60 seconds of sunlight, even as the sun sets. I wake up and feel closer to death than the day before. I am a mother, so I wait for my daughter at the bottom of the stairs, and I hold her hand when crossing the street. And when we stop at the corner, I run my fingers over her ponytail like it's my own hair. She says there's a cloud in the sky that looks like a heart, but I can't see what she sees. I am a mother. So when she is hungry, I feed her. And when she asks me how to spell wolves, I explain how some nouns transform in the plural. Man is men, tooth is teeth, and person who is murdered becomes people. Now is our time for joys and sorrows that we share with each other, as written in the book at the back corner of the church. From the Ollie family, goodbye, Grandmother Juliet. Godspeed. Dylan Bransky, sending prayers to the following people. To Harold, who lost his wife of 65 years to Alzheimer's. To that woman whose name I forgot, whose 96-year-old father passed in November. And to my good friend, Mark Morrison, whose father is in his final days. From Roger Peltier and John Hickey, happy birthday to Reverend Roger, who is off today celebrating with John. Happy birthday to Nancy Worthen. From John Hickey and Roger, a candle of wellness and healing to Norman Marcotte as he recovers from a stroke. From Janet Braylove, we are all Minnesota. From B, a candle of wellness to Lori, who was seriously injured by a passenger on a flight that she was a flight attendant on. From Dana, a candle for all the heavy hearts this week, and a call to action. ICE protest today, 2 p.m. at the State House. See you there. For Rebecca Good and her loved ones, and to us all.
This is our time for prayer and reflection. I invite everyone to settle themselves in whatever way is helpful for these moments. And after our spoken words, we have silence for personal reflection and prayer. During that time of silence, if you have lost someone close to you in the past year, we invite you to stand or raise your hand in silent witness of that loss. I hear them. I hear them long before I see them. The Canada geese. The raucous, beautiful, loyal Canada geese. So close, I could hear the sound of their wing beats once years ago when they flew low and silent over my head. I had not known there was a sound to their wing beats. Air beaten by feathers and seasoned muscles has a sound. So miracles are possible. Today they appear in the distance, their ragged, enduring V formation as recognizable as their calls. No straggler is trailing, calling them to wait. They are all together, spread wide and wide. Some compose smaller V's branching off the main body, yet no one is left behind. No one is outside the shape of their connection, their identity, their community. It is not always so, but today it is, and I am grateful. Today, they affirm for me that what I seek is possible. It can be done. Even the geese can do it, making their long pilgrimage across the cold, inhospitable winter. This is how they survive. This is how we will survive. This is how we will survive. Amen. In 1819, when the famed French painter Théodore Géricault was 27 years old, he completed a painting originally titled Scène de naufrage, or shipwreck scene. But what the painting really depicted was what the painting has since become known as the Raft of the Medusa. And hopefully you can see it on the screen here in front of the pulpit. Is it up? It looks almost identical to that. This painting depicted a moment that was part of a then infamous event, as well known then as the Titanic is now. The Medusa was a French naval ship which ran aground off the coast of Mauritania in 1816, right after the end of the Napoleonic Wars. Of the hundreds of mariners aboard the ship, 150 ended up on a large raft that was hastily built to be towed by the Medusa's longboats, which also launched from the wreck. But the raft ended up cast off by the longboats because it was slowing them down. It drifted helplessly for 2 weeks, with the surface of the raft actually below the surface of the sea because it was so overburdened, and with very few provisions. In the end, after violent infighting, mutiny, exposure, illness, and starvation, only 15 individuals on the raft survived, and even they barely made it. In order to survive, they had to resort to eating some of those who had died, and to jettisoning those who were sick and wounded. Finally, after every kind of extremity, they were spotted by a passing ship and rescued. I don't need to know for the purposes of this sermon, but I'm just curious to know, those of you, and if other people in the choir want to come see the picture, it's not identical to the one on your covers of your order of service, but one way or another, you can see something. How many people feel like they've seen this painting before somewhere? Could you raise your hand? Okay. How many people knew the story behind the painting? Could you raise your hand? So maybe at least half of the people who know the painting knew the story. Okay, thank you. Needless to say, this narrative became a huge international scandal. The bad seamanship that stranded them to begin with, there's so much more to the story that I'm not going into. There was very bad seamanship. It's not like they were blown off course by a storm or something. The bad seamanship that stranded them to begin with, the abandonment of the raft by the longboats, the events on the raft, the charges and countercharges, and eventual court-martial of the ship's captain, who was, of course, not on the raft. People were fascinated, devastated, appalled, and astounded by the story, and that anyone survived that raft at all. Like everyone else at the time, Géricault heard about and followed the unfolding story of the abandonment and suffering and humanity driven beyond all bearing. Impassioned, he realized he must paint about it. But first, he interviewed survivors, and he made a scale model of the raft, and he visited hospitals and studied people who were ill and close to death. When he was finally ready to begin, he shaved his head so that he would not go out in public or be distracted from this great impetus he felt. All apologies to those of us with less hair. This was his perspective and his choice. And then he got to work. Géricault sketched and painted many different versions of the events as he felt his way towards his ultimate result. He worked in his studio, having done all the advance prep. He then worked in his studio for 8 months to create the painting. One of his sketches is what is on the cover of your order of service this morning. So it's not a final version. There are some differences, which you may or may not notice. As Julian Barnes points out in his book, A History of the World, in 10.5 chapters, there were so many depictions that Jericho could have chosen. The moment of stranding, or the moment of launching the ill-fated, overladen raft, the moment of desertion by the longboats, one of the many violent fights over food and space, the mutiny on the raft, a hideous moment of decision to consume one of their deceased comrades. There were countless options, one more dramatic than the next. Until this painting and this time, the most influential trend in French painting was formal neoclassical work, calm and epic in scope, huge scenes pulled way back with a lot included. As we can see for ourselves, if I was an art history professor, I'd be up front with a laser pointer. As we can see for ourselves, Jericho's work was a complete departure from what had prevailed until then. Look how close and urgent and dramatic and dynamic it is in composition and mood and detail. Your eye moves from the dead and dying and despondent at the lower left, your lower left, diagonally across the billowing sail and raging seas, following the surging highlights and lines of the outstretched, desperate bodies, arms, and clutching hands of the living, who are waving garments wholly focused on a tiny, almost invisible, seemingly impossibly far away shape of a ship, which you may not be able to see on the screen because the actual painting is like 25 feet across, but our screen is smaller. So even with the actual painting, you can barely see the ship. But on the horizon, barely perceptible across the vast distance, so indistinct, in fact, that we cannot tell if it is heading towards the raft or away from it, whether those trying to hail it are seeing their most desperate hopes realized or vanishing from their sight. And to further heighten our sense of how faint the chance of life is, we have the strongly highlighted form in the lower right, cutting counter to that main diagonal line that the painting has going across. The highlighted form on the lower right, terribly abandoned in death, with the head cut off by the canvas, but clearly underwater. And we may wonder whether any of the other prone forms yet live, but we know that for this white, swathed body, there is no hope. Our ministry theme this month is creation. Creation is a word that is rife with interpretive possibilities and emerging from a holiday season that has been filled with challenge and strife, moving through this week of national tumult and heightening conflict in the wake of ICE killing Minnesota citizen and nonviolent resistor and immigrant supporter Renee Good. In the wake of all this, I have been thinking about the many ways that we respond to tragedy, injustice, and empire. And our ministry theme turned my thoughts to the vital impetus, power, and witness of acts of creation. Renee Good is not the first person to have been killed by ICE. She is perhaps the most publicly witnessed and most documented. At least 4 people have been shot and killed by ICE. 3 in the last month. 3 in the last month. Many more have been shot and wounded. Still more have died in ICE custody. The vast majority of those injured or worse by ICE have been people of Latinx or Hispanic heritage. Every abuse and outrage by our own government feeds the urgency I know many of us here feel. Sometimes perhaps you also feel a terrible life hangs in the balance desperation. A feeling not unlike the one that pervades this painting before us. Many of us are focused on actions we can take, educating ourselves and others, offering rides or resources to those most in jeopardy, creating coalitions to more strongly support victims of empire and prejudice, to more strongly oppose those forces of empire and prejudice. But perhaps we are not always thinking of the power and place creation holds amidst all this. Géricault's painting immortalized the injustices, suffering, and brutality of the Medusa wreck in a way that continues to keep the story and its realities alive, to keep us aware of what can happen and what must not happen. The renowned 20th century Spanish artist Pablo Picasso did the same thing with his devastating 1937 anti-war painting Guernica, responding to the bombing of a Basque town during the Spanish Civil War. The Nobel Prize-winning 20th century Chilean writer and activist Pablo Neruda channeled his vision and passion into his writing, including this work from 1964, Memorial de Isla Negra, translated by Alistair Reid into English. Something started in my soul, fever or forgotten wings, and I made my own way, deciphering that fire, and wrote the faint first line, faint without substance, pure nonsense, pure wisdom of someone who knows nothing. And suddenly I saw the heavens unfastened and open. This past week, amidst the press conferences and calls to action and essential work for compassion and resistance, what has also already come, and I believe just as important, just as impactful, just as rallying, has been creation, including poetry. We heard one of those responses, one of those creations, Hannah Eve Levy's The Day a Poet is Murdered by Ice. And we heard a different creation, a different affirmation in a different circumstance of personhood and sacredness and resistance to the institutionalization of dehumanization and empire in our invocation, that welcome message of the Newton UU Fellowship. Wasn't it beautiful and wise and loving and so Unitarian Universalist? We feel our own spirits rise at the call of another, at the insistent affirmation of souls and selfhood and the preciousness of each person, the inherent worth and dignity of each person, the belief we hold that undergirds all that we do here in this church, all that we are here together. The beliefs we welcome our youngest souls to join us in, the beliefs we welcome all visitors and new members to join us in, the kinship of humanity, of Ubuntu, that I am who I am, please, because of who we all are. The kinship that we may feel also with those desperate souls on the raft. With all desperate souls right now suffering and struggling in countless ways, the surging waves and clouds of hardship and cruelty that threaten any of us, and the mortality that looms for all of us. And the hope that it rises dramatic and real at any hint of salvation, of change, of goodness, howsoever distant or faint, still possible, and in that way, real and sustaining. Our responses to these days we are living in, walking through one day at a time and not alone, thank goodness, together, thank goodness. Our responses to these days do not have to be the same, even should not be the same. Whatever sustains you, whatever strengthens you. For the living of these days, I say to you now, it is necessarily good and right. And I add, forget not your power, not only to be or do, but also to create, to make and refine and bring into this world that which does not already exist. Not only justice for all, but also poetry and art, music, sound, light. Let your soul show itself, shine in any and every way you are called to. Let your days show not only effort and commitment, but also beauty, as well as pain you are called to express. Honor it. It may outlast us all. It may remind others later of what is due humanity and how much good, though distant and far from us now, yet it is real. The ship you cannot see is real and possible for us all. Amen. Our second hymn is The Oneness of Everything, that beautiful hymn that we used to be overwhelmed and intimidated by, but now we're getting our arms around it and loving it. It's in the Teal hymnal number 1052. Can we rise in body or spirit?
Glory, all the
We do our best to be worthy of your time and your presence every Sunday, even extending it to art history class now, unprecedented, I think, in this congregation, since we never had screens from which we could look at great works of art from the Louvre. And it so happens that this is now the time for your offering. Thank you so much for your responses to all that we do, all that we are together. Thank you so much for all that you give, all that you are together. Among the many ways to practice our faith, we have these invitations for you this week. This is such an exciting time. First, after our remarkable strategic campaign success, we have been able to hire our first full-time music director in the 300-year history of this church, We have already seen the amazing benefits of that decision, and now 4 different teams are working on our 4 physical plant projects: the kitchen, the auditorium, this meeting house, and a solution to the challenges of rehabbing our organ And phase 2, which is our kitchen, starts tomorrow. Before we start tearing the kitchen apart, we are going to celebrate everything it has offered us in the past. Join us for one last look at the old kitchen right after worship during coffee hour. We will have cake and special kitchen music and possibly even... I know, you thought the kitchen music was a thing, but what comes next is possibly even a sledgehammer photo opportunity. We like to keep it fresh here at First U. Not every church has sledgehammer opportunities and kitchen music, but we do. No stone unturned. Be sure to join the fun, and if you see anything in there that you may have always envied or perhaps left in the kitchen months ago, be sure to take it today because everything must go. And while we are celebrating the kitchen, we also celebrate the efforts that are making these projects possible. When you are in the parlors, in the next building over, in the parish house, please be sure to look at the display of the donor recognition wall that is currently being prepared. A subcommittee of the campaign committee has been working very hard to create a beautiful and meaningful tribute to all those who have contributed to this very important part of our history. Take a look at the graphic. Please check the donor list to make sure your name is as you want it to appear. We are not going to be able to follow up with everybody. You've got to check the list. The list cannot check with you. And if you want to be included on the donor wall but haven't had a chance yet to donate to the strategic campaign, it is definitely not too late. Simply make a pledge to the campaign by the end of January. It does not say how to do that. Who should people... Bill Twaddell, can I ask you to stand up? Bill Twaddell, who's one of the co-chairs, and is Hillary in the room also? She was here earlier. She just left. So Bill, you're carrying it on your shoulders. Bill Twaddell is co-chair of the strategic campaign. If you want to give and you didn't give yet, which may be the case especially for newer people, talk to Bill and he'll tell you how to get it done. Is that fair? And thank you. Our benediction is by Amanda Gorman, who was the 2017 National Student Poet Laureate, who spoke at President Biden's inauguration, and this is the poem she wrote this week for Renee Nicole Good, killed by ICE on January 7th, 2026. They say she is no more, that there her absence roars, blood blown like a rose, iced wheels flinched and froze. Now bare riot of candles, dark fury of flowers, pure howling of hymns. If for us she arose, somewhere in the deep pitch of our grief crouches our power. The howl where we begin, straining upon the edge of the crooked crater of the worst of what we've been. Change is only possible and all the greater when the labor and bitter anger of our neighbors is moved by the love and better angels of our nature. What they call death and void, we know is breath and voice. In the end, gorgeously endures our enormity. You could believe departed to be the dawn, when the blank night has so long stood, but our bright-fled angels will never be fully gone when they are forever so fiercely good. Can we join in the words for extinguishing our chalice? We carry the flame of peace and love and hope until we meet again.
something, let there be something, something made by me. There's things waiting for me to invent them, there's worlds waiting for me to explore. I am an echo of the eternal cry of let there be, the spark of creation, burning bright within me, the spark of creation won't let me rest at all until I discover or build or uncover a thing that I can call my celebration of the spark of creation. If you're a kind of crustacean, but when you're born with an imagination, sooner or later you're feeling the fire get higher and higher, the spark of